So that's the bank. First thing in the morning, gonna get a bank draft for the landlord. Now we're gonna make our way from my place in Markham over to North York, where the shop is. Can't tell yet, we are in my M5, which I'm kind of excited for. For those of you who don't know, this is a E60 generation M5. So it has a 5-liter, 507 horsepower V10 in it, and it's stunning. I absolutely love this engine. The experience is unlike anything you can buy today, because everything is, it's turbocharged, or it's kind of, they're piping in fake exhaust and intake sounds into the cabin, and it's really artificial. This car is very visceral, and for lack of better words, very real. It it's got amazing handling. Like it honestly feels like a smaller car than it is. And I think it's because it has very direct steering. I believe it's straight hydraulic, so it has excellent feedback. Now I've got great tires on it too. These are Michelin PS4s, the new ones. They are amazing in the summer, but not so great in the winter. So this car doesn't see any winter driving. This was just a great opportunity where the roads are dry, the sun's out, and I really couldn't help myself, to be honest. A lot of people talk about how unreliable these cars are in their videos, and it's great for shock and awe and getting a lot of views on YouTube, but in my experience so far, this car has been great. I've put about 20,000 kilometers on it since I've owned it, and all I've done is the regular maintenance. That being said, I bought it with only 43,000 kilometers on it, so I mean the engine and gear train and all that stuff is all very young per se, in terms of how much use it's seen. So I'm not kind of in the mileage range where you start to have some issues like that, which we may see. I don't know if we'll keep this car or not. I always think I'm gonna flip it, and then I drive it a bit, and then I stop thinking about that pretty quickly. So we'll see what I end up doing with this car, but for the time being, I'm really enjoying it. It's been great. Like I said, I think the maintenance stuff, I did the spark plug change, which was due about, I think, at 60,000 clicks, as well as your normal oil and filters. I had an alignment done when I got the new tires, just to make sure it was spot on. But that's pretty much it. In one of my other videos, it's not part of the vlog, but I did actually do a video of the exhaust system on this. It's a stock system. I just had the secondary cats removed, and that's I did it because it just amplifies the sound a little bit, so under cruising speeds, inside the cabin, you really don't notice any difference, which is what I wanted. I really like the Jekyll and Hyde feeling of this car, where you just know that the power is there, but it's not intrusive. I'm not sure if you can hear it. There's some great induction sound too. I also removed the what are so they have carbon filters, I guess, attached to their air filters. Apparently in North America they had to have those for emissions. Apparently it kind of knocks down the odor from I guess the gas fumes, something like that. Something to do with the plenum design. You can smell fuel. If you don't have those, I took them out. It's made the intake sound a little more noticeable. Again, how it should be, and really it's actually closer to the European spec. But I haven't smelt any gas fumes, so I'm not really sure why they're there. All I know is when you remove them, you get a little more intake sound, and you get a slight increase in response. It's nothing major. I noticed it likely because they are 13-year-old carbon filters in the intake, so they're probably kind of gummed up or whatever. So That's you know, why I probably saw a more noticeable difference than maybe some other guys did. And before we get started, I'm going to fix that seat. Got a lot of comments about this creaky old chair. So we're going to fix this to make a few of you guys a little happier. All right, so this is the 2011 C63 that we were talking about earlier. It's already been polished. It got washed, clayed, decontaminated chemically as well. It got a 2-stage paint correction. Not that that's necessary for PPF. Generally speaking, if someone's just coming for PPF, we're going to do at least a single stage. If the customer wants it perfect, then obviously we're doing more. In this case we did 2 because he's going to get a ceramic coating as well. But either way, so well prepped. I've already wiped down this whole area with alcohol. I spent some extra time on these paint chips just so that when I go to put paint in them, it actually bonds. If you don't clean these chips well enough, it may actually reject the paint, and when I go to put film on here, you'll see that it pops. Then I'll have this weird kind of white dot in my material, which obviously would look kind of crappy. I like to use OEM touch-up paint. This is straight from Mercedes. I find it works the best because it'll have a great match to the factory paint. Also, it's acrylic, and that's important because when you go to put the chip in, it's going to harden up, or sorry, put the paint in the chip, it's going to harden up pretty quickly. And you want that because you want to be able to level this like today, not 4 hours from now. If this was a water-based paint, then what would happen is you'd have to wait hours for it to dry, you know, similar to what they use inside the body shop. It would have to be baked for there to be hard enough for us to then level or correct. So for touch-ups, I like to get the OEM touch-up paint. Good match, it's quick. What we're doing right now is, so I'm going to fill these in. I'm actually going to overfill these so that there's some extra to then remove. From there, once it hardens up, or just before it's fully hardened, I'm actually going to do an alcohol wipe down. And that's just to knock out the kind of lump or excess paint that I'm going to leave on here, so it's nice and flat. And that'll be good enough. These chips are a little bit small to get kind of a nice finish on them, so what we're going to do is we're just going to color them so that they no longer stand out. On white, this would be more than adequate, I'm sure. All right, so it's been a few minutes. It might be a little bit too soon, but I'm getting a little bit eager. So I'm applying a little bit of isopropyl alcohol to just kind of a wad of paper towel here. Like, the guys have used my RID sticks, which are those kind of little sanding blocks, which I normally use to level these, but this will have to work for now. So I'm just going to gently just kind of pass over, you know, with almost no pressure, just allowing the alcohol to do its work more so than using any pressure. We don't want to remove paint out of the chip, so you want to be careful. You can kind of see already there's some paint coming off. It's exactly what you want. So slowly, just making very even passes. We'll get this to, it's a pretty big one actually, so it might take some time, but they will level out with a little bit of. The RID sticks are helpful because they're firm, and so I'll kind of like to hold the paper towel really flat, so it's easy to not pushing into rather than sitting across the top of the chip. It kind of just helps it look the result. As long as you know the finger, you get enough of the paint out of the chip in that. You can kind of see there more paint. So this method's actually really nice because you can do this at home without, you know, compromising your clear coat system. You know, if you're just not comfortable, you know, wet sanding or polishing, this is a good way. Pretty quick. Results are good too. It just takes a little bit of time. This chip's kind of a bad example because there was so much paint on the surface. I kind of overdid it, hoping to show you, well, just exaggerating how much was there so that you could see the leveling action from the camera. here we go. So I don't know if you can see that now. We're getting much smaller. We're down from the size of P down to, I mean, just over a pencil head. Just think not too much more here. We'll get this. Oh yeah, there we go. Now that's really close. Yeah. That's pretty good. Now, you gotta be careful with this because you can go too far. I'm gonna grab you and bring you in so you can see what I've done here. Show you the result of that method. Come on, focus, buddy. So it's a little awkward. I'm pulling the camera up. That's the. There we go. Where'd he go? That's the chip now. So you can see it's kind of perfectly flat, and the chip is nicely filled. So at any distance, other than right up to the paint, you've got a nice filled chip, flat level. You don't have the color difference. This also has no lump, so when we put film on here, there won't be any kind of bubble created from having film, or sorry, having a chip or a bump or unleveled paint underneath the film here. All right, so we're gonna move on to doing the PPF in the hood. I like to stick, this is the end of a Xpel film roll. They come with every brand. It's just to kind of hold the tube kind of centered in the box so it doesn't kind of get banged up. But I like to do that so that it's not high enough. Well, the idea is that it gets the hood just above level, or about level, so you've got some gap on the edges here, so you don't have issues kind of getting film stuck. So what we'll do is, this is a mix of water and alcohol, isopropyl alcohol once again. And with my microfiber, we'll do one more, just kind of wipe down. So pick up any dust that may have accumulated while we were doing the stone chip touch-ups. I've already kind of gone around and used straight isopropyl on all of the edges, just to make sure they're nice and clean. So when we do wrap the edges, we've got a good bond. That way there's no grease or anything that's going to stop that. Okay, that's that. What I'm doing now, I'm going to find my hood section. I don't know if these are labeled. Again, these are pre-cuts, so we'll do the best we can with the alignments. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so we'll use the pre-cut in this example. Just that's what Chris here is paying for. It's a good result. Again, most people will never even know the film's there. In some cars, you might want to spend a little more and get the custom, installation done. But if you're doing that, you would probably end up doing more thorough coverage anyway. So you would probably go with a full front installation rather than just a basic front like this is here. So just saturating the paint here. This is soap and Johnson's. Sorry, soap. It's water and Johnson's baby soap. We use that as a slip solution. It kind of just creates a slippery layer between the adhesive side of the PPF and the paintwork, so that we've got a little bit of working time. It's not going to tack out. Okay. So what's kind of critical here is
not wasting too much time in getting this down. The longer you leave it, the more chance you have for it for getting some contamination, which will be kind of dust or dirt in the film. The material, like you just saw. Yeah, so I like to kind of make sure my hands are good and wet. We're going to lift the material again. You can see how it's kind of sticking in spots, which is part of the reason why you got to do this lift after pre-spraying the hood. You want to make sure the adhesive is really well saturated. That way you don't have any silvering, which is basically an imprint of the glue on the paintwork kind of have happening too fast. You'll notice that there's no hole here. I did that on purpose. We're going to form this in by hand, and I'll kind of trim out inside. That way when we put the emblem back, it'll be totally seamless here. Now in this bottle here I've got it's a warm water and isopropyl alcohol mix. It's very light. I prefer not to use very much alcohol, just because it can scar the material and kind of negatively impact the bond between adhesive and paint. Okay. So in pattern film installations, the, I guess, textbook installation or methods install, see, there's a little bit of dirt there already, just like that. That looks like a lint fiber. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Sorry, what was I saying? You want to nail your main alignments first. In this case, that's going to be our corners. And so I'm getting my alignment here, and then I'm going to lock in that corner. It's not sticking that well, so we're going to use a bit of water and alcohol to rinse out some of that soaking water. There we go. Okay, so now we've got a good bond there. I'm going to shoot a little bit more soap in here. That way everything's floating nicely. It's a lot harder than just laying the PPF on your own. Talking to the camera while you're doing it is a little distracting, to be honest. Well, I'm going to show you how to do this centerpiece just while it's drying. I think you get the idea of how PPF is laid. What you may have not seen before is how you can hear that, that's the film there, how we roll the material into that depression and then reinstall the emblem. So I'll do that quickly for you now. That's the emblem. We're gonna trim this out nicely. So when we put that back, there'll be no seam here at all. So with a light knife facing away from the paintwork, I'm just going to push away. It's actually works in here. I'm just putting that first section. We'll pull it down a little more. Next ridge. Let's see, it's, yeah, that's okay, right down. Is that next groove? Yeah, let's do it. Okay, let's get down there. Turn that wood there. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Okay, so that's pretty well done there. Just got to let it dry a little bit, but just to show you what it looks like. There you go. That's it. No seam, no area to collect dirt. Looks super clean. And that's how it should look. It should look tidy. It should look, look like there's nothing there. All right, guys, that's it for me today. We got the PPF on this car pretty much buttoned up, just a few edges to let dry out before we can kind of wrap them underneath. But otherwise, we'll do some ceramic coating on this a little bit later in the week. We'll follow up with a video, maybe talking about the coating we're putting on this car, as well as kind of coatings in general. But that's it for now. Hope to see you again next time. Please like, share, and subscribe.